Hi, everyone. It's Nasia from Les Maisons Partners. And Kristen, unfortunately, is a little bit under the weather today. So we're doing this solo. So it's Les Maisons Partner today. And I am here with the amazing Ashanti Phelps. I know I use amazing a lot, but I really do feel like the people we talk to are completely amazing. So, Ashanti, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and then I'll tell everybody what we're here to talk about.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you so much for that introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Ashanti Phelps, and I am the CEO of Georgia Peach Consulting LLC. Georgia Peach Consulting is a one-stop shop that specializes in accounting and bookkeeping, grant and loan preparation, business consulting, tax advising, tax preparation, and business formation services. So literally, we do
Everything.
everything.
Yes. And really, you do a lot for startups, I heard.
Yes, yes. I think it's so important that we educate people out there about the possibilities when you form an LLC. A lot of people don't know that even if you decide that later on, oh, I don't know what I want to do now. Like when you start an LLC now, you can start building business credit for the long run when you eventually do decide that you actually want to do something. So I just think that all these services are important in general. Like that's the whole main reason why I started the company in the first place. So.
And I mean, as an entrepreneur, this is key. And this is why we wanted to talk to Ashanti because right now we are in the unknown period in 2021. Things have changed so much during this pandemic, and we're here to talk about taxes, tax tips. And I know it might not be, the most illustrious of subjects to everyone, but it's something that everybody who's self-employed and entrepreneurs, everybody needs to know. And we're talking a little bit about some of these tax tips that really are going to help drive the 2021 tax season. And Ashanti just dropped a bomb on me about something from the IRS that just happened. So Ashanti, why don't you share that with everybody? Because I'm like, wait, what just happened?
Well, first of all, because of the fact that we did not get the updated care relief package until the end of December, the IRS was not prepared to release these stimulus checks as soon as they did. And so a lot of people don't know that if you have not received a stimulus check, you have to file your taxes. As of January 15th, if you did not receive anything, you must file your taxes in order to get your stimulus check. So because of this, the IRS has to update their systems in order to prepare for this reimbursement credit that the people are pretty much going to get on their actual tax return. And because of that, the IRS actually is not going to actually start processing returns until February 12th. So that means most people won't be getting anything or seeing anything, even if you file your taxes today until the end of February at minimum. So yeah, this stuff is just rolling as the weeks go by. So literally, like we're getting updated information constantly. So
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. That's really one of the key reasons why I wanted to have you on. I think a lot of, especially small business, self-employed folks, they're doing the best that they can, but taxes can be so intimidating to people. And we really wanted to talk about a couple of tips that might help people out. And I know specifically the pandemic, we were talking about this. A lot of people got pandemic, the PPP loans. They also had, the people might have also got unemployment. And how does that work? How are all of these different pandemic related updates? What should people keep in mind when they're preparing their taxes?
well, first of all, because of COVID, businesses saw many new tax incentives, breaks rules as the U.S. government tries to combat like COVID-19 last year. And so there are quite a few new programs and changes out there for 2021. The first being the CARES Act, obviously the Protection Program, aka the PPP loan, which is, if people don't know, is an emergency loan that allocated billions of dollars to small businesses between last year and this year coming up. With that being said, there has been a bunch of stuff that has been updated, including the fact that there's been a lot of uncertainty about business expenses and what's actually covered. The updated CARES Act actually brought in the range of what you can deduct for the PPP loan. So a lot of people don't know that. So that'd be something to be looking out for. You even have a thing called the employee retention tax credit, which again, a lot of people don't know about. It's brand new. It pretty much is for businesses that were affected by COVID-19, and they can use this credit to retain staff members. So you literally get money back in your pocket for trying to actually still keep your business running and still paying employees. Like, you're going to get it back in your taxes this year. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to be looking out for. A lot of stuff that can honestly be overwhelming, even for a tax preparer, honestly. So
yeah, because I know that as a realtor, there are things that are just not deductible. I thought when I got into the business, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to deduct everything," but that doesn't work out. So, are there certain like tips I would give to people as to things that are commonly thought can be deducted and they're not? Because I know that certainly for us, a lot of us thought, oh, we can just deduct our wardrobe, but that's actually not a thing. I'm so sorry if you're doing that.
well, there are certain expenses that can be deducted. A lot of people don't know that if you pay rent and you work from home, a piece of that rent is actually deductible. You do it based on square footage. So there are a few things that are deductible. The most common deductions that people look for when they end up itemizing are for those state and local taxes, mortgage interest, charitable contributions, medical and dental expenses. But because of the 2017 tax cut, which extends from 2018 all the way to 2025, it's almost worthless to itemize your deductions. You might as well do it in deduction for the most part. It's become complicated, unfortunately. But one of the key things that did pop up this year for 2021 is that in the past, if you did an itemized deduction, that would include your charitable contributions. So if you pay up to $2,000-$3,000, you can itemize that and actually get that back. But only if you itemize your deductions. This year, even if you take the standard deduction, you can deduct up to $300 for charitable contributions back into your tax return.
Oh.
So yeah, there's a lot of new things rolling out. I think it's probably one of the main things that it's a positive thing, because a lot of people gave back because of COVID and the pandemic, and this is one of the government's ways to motivate people to continue contributing even though the pandemic is going on. So those are big things to look at. A lot of stuff that were itemized that you could itemize, you can now include into your standard deduction for this year. So,
ooh, that's actually kind of a game changer for a lot of people, because I know people just say, well, I'd rather just itemize because I'm going to get more, or I mean, I'd rather itemize because in the end it gets to be easier. So that's why I thought it was really important for you kind of to address. There are things that are different in this year that we may not have seen before. And I think this is why some people are so very intimidated by taxes, because we say to ourselves, wow, there's so much happening, just what you're mentioning. And so give me an idea, if you will, when somebody is doing their own taxes, is there a point where they need help? Like, my point is in the beginning, so I knew I needed help in the beginning. But is there a point where you say, okay, this is really best if a tax professional handles it?
First of all, taxes in general, like you already said, can be overwhelming. However, 2020 tax year will probably be one of the most stressful years due to all the new tax laws and incentives for COVID, as we already know. And with that being said, you do end up paying less money when you do use a tax software yourself, like TurboTax or HP or Hewlett Packard. Like, if you use them, like, great, you can do it yourself. But you get to a point where you get overwhelmed because of the fact that you realize that, oh, I need receipts for this, I need receipts for payments for that. And then you realize that maybe you didn't keep up with everything, or maybe there's a shortcut that you don't know about. So now what you thought might take you a couple of hours, or maybe even an hour, ends up taking you a couple of days, because you have, in general, no idea what the heck you're doing. And that's why I highly recommend that you go to a professional tax preparer or a business like my company, Georgia Peach Consulting.
Oh, you got paused.
Yes.
Oh, you got caught in the pause.
Dang, okay. Well, like I would say, this is the time where you would go to a professional tax preparer or a business like mine, like my company, like Georgia Peach Consulting, because we constantly stay updated on the laws and regulations. So instead of you spending hours like rolling your head, twirling your mind, trying to figure out how can you maximize your profit, I take the stress out for you. My company takes the stress for you. Literally, we make it as easy as you submitting documentation, we get it, and then from there we take it upon ourselves to make sure that you get the most back into your return at the end of the day, and you get to focus on what really matters, which is you just gonna return on your family
Yes.
a month.
Whew, I
So,
agree. I agree wholeheartedly because I think that even from those who come from a finance or accounting background, it still sometimes is so different. I mean, these are still different lanes that people are going through. And it's not to say that nobody can do their own taxes, but especially business taxes. And because a lot of times they're due earlier, so it is a little bit more time and like a little bit more time sensitive for a lot of people at the beginning of the year because there's that rush that, oh my gosh, I got to get it in. So tell me then, give people also, I think we're talking a little bit about 2020 taxes, but this pandemic is still going on. There's still a whole new slew of upcoming like legislation. We don't know what's going to happen. Are there a few tips that you can give to people that concrete things that they can start doing now to prepare for the 2021 taxes? Because I know that 2021 taxes, that's going to be a new game changer altogether.
yes, yes, it is. I do have a few tips actually. My number key one, I think, for anything is that, especially for self-employed people, is that I highly recommend that you have a tax plan for 2021. And you can create a tax plan by getting tax advising from your local accountant or CPA. Georgia Peach Consulting does offer those services. By creating a tax plan and getting tax advising, you line yourself up for whether or not you have to make payments, whether they be quarterly, annually, all those kind of things play a role into the kind of tax liability or tax refund that you may get at the end of next year. So that's the biggest thing. If you don't get anything else, tax advising, definitely. You get
Yeah.
tax advising, you set a plan for the year. Even if you don't go to an accountant, at least you have a plan and you can expect kind of what your business is going to end up going into versus just kind of going with the flow and you get all these tax laws or regulations. Next thing you know, you get the IRS auditing you. That's not something that you want. And tax planning is the best way to avoid that, honestly. Tip number two is that I highly recommend that all business owners should have a bookkeeping software, whether that be QuickBooks, SAP, it's essential. Honestly, not only does it make it easier for you to keep track of everything that goes on in your business, but it makes it efficient and it allows you to focus on the stuff that really matters, which is either providing a service or a product to your clients. By using a bookkeeping software, you literally get to keep track of the expenses, income, payments, when you do invoices, all that kind of stuff can be tracked in a bookkeeping software. On top of that, QuickBooks has this thing where you can literally convert your stuff at any year into a tax return.
Okay.
When you use your accountant. So honestly, bookkeeping softwares are essential to any true successful business, in my opinion. And then lastly, but not least, hire an accountant to handle your bookkeeping. It's easy to do it yourself sometimes, but honestly, as your business will grow, you're going to get overwhelmed. Whether it be trying to keep up your revenue, trying to invoice people, emailing, learning what stuff is due, all that stuff gets overwhelming. And it's honestly highly recommended that you just go ahead and hire an accountant. It may cost you more money right now, but in the long run, it's going to save you money and time. So, and on top of that, your accountant can help you prepare for tax season. They're going to know the ins and outs of your business. So instead of you trying to figure stuff out, you have someone that actually specializes in finances who can actually guide you through the stuff that you may actually come into contact with throughout the year. So
Now, can you deduct your professional tax services too?
you cannot deduct professional tax services.
Oh, okay.
However, if you, for example, hire your accountant as a contractor, contracting expenses can be written off on top of the fact that it's eligible for the PPP loan forgiveness. So,
Wait, hold on. Now
yes,
that's a gem right there. Hold on.
yes, that's something that's covered under the PPP loan. So if you get the PPP loan, you're saying,
Wow.
hey, I've been paying an accountant to keep up at A, B, C, and D. Those are expenses that you can actually use the PPP loan, which is paying your accountant.
Okay. All right. See, all of these things are important because I think, well, obviously being an entrepreneur, we're busy getting business, maintaining our business, getting new business. So, I mean, there are so many things that we're wrapped up in, and that's not even to include your family and your time that you're volunteering, and I mean, a host of other things that you're doing. And so, our minds are really laser focused on our business, and yet this is something that could easily slip through because as you're telling me about all these different programs and everything that could be taken off and stuff, I feel as if people really need to be ready. And this is just not something that we're going to be kept up to date on as a normal entrepreneur. So, what you're talking about with the accounting services, the bookkeeping at the minimum, that's really helpful. I know that tracking your expenses, we get into trouble all the time because we forget. So it's if I can get a system, and we're starting to implement a system where we're just taking photos of our receipts as we do them and then making sure we upload those. And that's just for me, that's key because I literally would be like, wait, where's the receipt? A
Yeah.
month later. And I forgot that I did it. I go to so many showings that I forgot that I did that. So just to keep up with something is just exhausting. It's another job.
Yes, definitely. I tell people that all the time. I've had some people come to me with that was like, hey, like I can't afford accounting right now, or I can afford to have somebody on like part time or full time. But you realize that you save money in the long run. You end up losing money when you lose invoices, or when you forgot that somebody didn't pay you, or you forgot to bill somebody, or follow up, or whatever the case may be. You end up losing clients that way, and that's not something that you want. So as you progress, you're going to end up needing an accountant one way or another, whether it be for taxes, whether it be for your business, or even business optimization. You're going to need an accountant.
So, all of this to say, you need to talk to Ashanti. And also, Ashanti did run down everything that her business did in the beginning. But if you're a startup, if you're in need of help, you're not sure what you're going to do. And I would even say, and you haven't told me this, Ashanti, but I would even say, if you're thinking of starting a business, it may be a good idea to come to you before you do so that you can really start people thinking about what they need to do, and especially around tax season, because taxes are no joke. You do not want to fool around with your business taxes.
Very, very true. The IRS, listen, the IRS can be some scary people,
Yeah.
honestly. And that's coming from
We
me.
love
I'm
the
a
IRS. We
taxpayer.
love you.
They can be scary. So you want to be prepared for anything and everything. I have a client, he's literally been audited 4 times in the past 6 years. I kid you not. So it got to the point where he was like, all right, I'm on my P's and Q's now. Like, you guys want to audit
Yes.
me? Here, receipts, A, B, C, and D. So the better you are prepared for stuff like that, the less you are scared, honestly. I believe organization is key to any business. You stay organized, you can be prepared for anything, even a whole pandemic come your way.
Yes. So we're going to be looking to keep up with you because as this business tax season is coming up, obviously we want people to have some general information about that. But also we might be also talking to you because individual taxes come after that. And so that's a whole nother ball of wax that people are getting into. But I think the best thing is to be prepared because I know sometimes you wait to the last minute and all that. But we really need to kind of laser focus on making sure our taxes are in order this season. And because there's so many changes with the IRS. So we will definitely, on the recording, on the replay, you can feel free to play all of this all over again and stop when you hear the gem, write it down, and make sure you talk to Ashanti. So we'll also put all of your contact information on there so that people will be able to reach out to you as well.
That works for me. And again, if you guys do want to reach out to me, I can be contacted at www.georgiapeachconsult.com. It's literally spelled how it sounds, georgiapeachconsult.com. So
you all heard it. You all know now there's no excuse for our business taxes and our self-employment taxes. We already know that I'm not going to do it myself. And you probably know that too. So have a wonderful night, everyone. And please hit the replay on YouTube or Facebook, and make sure that you catch up with us on our next one. So thanks so much for joining us, and good night.